oh, can they keep this up? Because they were very decisive, very good in the early skirmishes, but also later in finding their initiation onto, namely, the Seraphine. They made it look like Ignar was only playing the beginning of the game and was not there for any critical moments for the last like 10, 15 minutes because they just kept deleting that Seraphine. So maybe we'll see a little bit of a change in tactics from Dignitas. That was like a very ball comp, group up, kind of slow moving, get to our team fight phase style. Maybe they'll get a little more scrappy this time around because Photon was, at the very least, doing quite well in his 1v1 and then their ganks up to the top side as well.
I feel like that's something that we were saying a lot in lock-in as well, right? That, Photon had been doing well individually, but the team wasn't always able to bring it all together. And Palafox had a good early laning phase against Zinni, but Zinni found incredible engages, was always the one kind of that seemed to be benefiting from these skirmishes. He was getting further and further ahead. Actually, on Palafox, they ended up, really kind of putting up a bit of a goose egg. They weren't able to get many kills. They weren't really able to get involved in a positive way with much, where Contracts and Zinni, it just felt like everywhere they went, they were finding success.
They certainly were pushing the pace of the game very effectively. Okay, so this time around, the Karma and the Nautilus both banned, and with Ashen Seraphine already getting played, guess what that means? It's Yunara Lulu time. So they go Lulu first. You can split the Yunara if you want, but Lulu, can get paired with Jinx or another hyper carry anyway. And surely they win one. Fuzz is skeptical. That was a good cut from the sign
I don't know.
Fuzzy is like, slow down there, buddy. We got one game. We'll see. We'll see if they can finish it out, though. Things looking quite good for them.
Yeah, they're really kind of just debating this Jarvan pick quite a lot, which Jarvan into Lulu, obviously good, but into Yunara, you can just kind of RE out of the Cataclysm.
That's why I'm thinking maybe they want to like split it up. What if they do a Jarvan and steal away the Yunara? Because then they're like, oh, well, if you go the Jinx instead replacement, then it's way less effective. They don't do that, though. They get the Neeko instead
Finally,
for the lane. But so then you still are faced with, if Yunara has ult, then yeah, she can ult and then jump out.
You almost always have a flash or if that is like you're almost always going to have some answer to
we do know that we're getting a new map as well as a new large
Neeko
arc.
coming through, I kind of feel like it might just be Neeko Ezreal,
definitely
and just kind of look for more of a poke-heavy lane. It is going to be the Pantheon here grabbed up for Xyz, so a little bit of early game power there for himself. We'll see if he can find some action. Instead, it's going to be Caitlyn, so it's not going to be Ezreal. It's going to be Caitlyn, Neeko. Very difficult lane to actually go into the 2v2 against. A lot of poke, a lot of prod, but if you get hit by a Tangle Barbs, you're trapped out of that. There can be those kind of 100-0 style combos, similar to the Lux Caitlyn as well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this used super effectively. Berserker piloting the Caitlyn and just knocking down turrets, keeping up pressure, rotating around the map to get the other turrets. And so we'll see if they can also get the jungle intervention down there, because guess what? Pre-6, yeah, you can definitely get a Jarvan gank down towards Yunara Lulu and change the outcome of that matchup. Pantheon, same thing can be said, but it's kind of hard if jungles are matched down there, because trying to engage onto Neeko Caitlyn can be very problematic if enemy jungle is also there covering the play.
This is interesting. So the Aurora band to me says they're thinking about going for a Rumble, which is still up and available. And the Mel band says to me that Palafox is thinking about something like Ahri. That's become a really common counter matchup. And Ahri can pair obviously pretty well with the Pantheon. So we'll see if either team wants to deny those picks. Rumble still being up and available is obviously very, very strong, but there are answers like Galio. Some people like even the Ornn or the Scion into it. So it's not as though there aren't any answers, but Rumble always does seem to have early push and can be quite strong in the team fights.
And then, yeah, if they did give the Rumble over, and then the Galio would work nicely with a Jarvan on the side for Shopify. So maybe they're thinking, yeah, it's totally fine if you go that angle. And so
I think both sides of it, though, are good for Shopify. You could go the Galio or the Rumble, because Spicy Hotbot combo is pretty strong, too.
Yeah, and especially since you have a Neeko here, so you've got plenty of engage to hold people on Rumble Ultimate and put pressure on the Yunara.
Yeah, and I feel like for Photon, because he has been such a point of pressure on the map for them, if you think the answers to the Rumble, besides Aurora, which they've banned, are tanks, I'd actually be pretty happy having Photon on a tank, right? He seems to be their best laning player. So if you put him on a tank and you put him in a matchup where Fudge is just going to be pushing him in, you're kind of neutralizing a lot of Dignitas's early game advantage that they often get through Photon.
Yeah, definitely agree there. I mean, it still is so good for the team comp though if you can have FBI carry. But you're gonna need FBI to be the carry here this time around for Dignitas. And the bottom lane is gonna have to overall as a duo have that extra pressure.
Yep, exactly. I mean, now that he's on Ornn, I think Ornn is totally fine matchup, but you're going full scaling basically.
Also now with TF, like
TF blind,
you are carrying you have to have FBI is everything.
Yep.
You've just picked a Twisted Fate to gank bottom lane for you, Yunara as well.
Yeah, it feels like that's the whole comp. It's just bot lane. You're gonna TF ult
and FBI
Pantheon
we
ult,
trust
and just send it down there. Will we get a spicy counter pick here from Zinni? Would be pretty cool. We'll see what he wants to bring out to answer. But it is just going to be the Galio. So they're going to get the Galio and the Rumble. And that is going to be pretty tough for FBI to deal with. I always feel like when you have tons of engage, tons of CC against these low threat comps, essentially, I don't want to call it one threat, but basically that's what it is. You just full send everything on FBI. And even if you don't kill him, if he's not hitting, if he's not dealing damage, where does the damage come from? Because every single fight is going to be Equalizer on his head.
By the way, this is also
the Cataclysm coming in, the Hero's entrance, the pop bosses, everything is just going to be thrown at FBI.
Yeah, they do have a lot of CC on
building
the team,
interest with the game,
and they can try and put the pressure. You know, Ornn ult is very long. Twisted Fate with rapid fire. You know, gold cards. You know, maybe you can get picks that way. You can Twisted Fate ultimate and reveal Neeko too, and maybe you try and like attack the Neeko before the Neeko can get the engage on you. But it is going to be really difficult because the Caitlyn has range. Caitlyn's got the big range advantage here, so you're going to be forced to make some positive moves yourself rather than just kind of sit and wait on that.
Yeah, and the question is, you know, obviously we know what the game plan is. You get this Yunara Lulu ahead. You're trying to play for that with the TF and, you know, with the Pantheon. But do you win the 4v4? That's always my question, is if you're in this losing 2v2 and you kind of have this one obvious place that you're going to go, well, the Galio can respond to your roams, and the Jarvan can just play around bot side too. So then it becomes, can you actually win out on these 3v3s and these potential 4v4s? And I think that's a lot harder when you expect the Neeko Caitlyn to have you chunked out, have you pushed in. That could make things difficult for Dignitas.
Bottom lane is an arms race, so we'll see who's going to commit first and who's going to commit harder with more resources to get their carries ahead. Because if the Caitlyn and Neeko get their early advantage and just get to siege and poke you under tower, like if you get your push and then start getting your poke advantage under tower, it becomes really hard to do your play bottom lane later.
Yeah.
Because then your bottom lane's already in bad conditions to fight from all the getting pushed under tower, trying to see. Wait, I didn't even get any, like, they're not even good, bro.
Even if I did steal it.
Yeah, I still
I didn't even get anything for it.
Okay, what were we doing? Let's go. League of Legends.
League of Legends, baby. Oh, Palafox is bot. You talked about that. He's got the gold card. Here he comes. Oh. Ghost going to be popped. He's in on to Seos. And that didn't do a lot.
I think we talked about that probably 20 minutes ago.
You talked about the level 1, and I don't know. I mean, now Zinni is in between him. We'll see if he actually misses any XP. Zinni wants to zone him from experience. Like, that is the goal here. Mid lane is almost more important. I kind of, oh god.
Ow.
Well, bot lane is a disaster for Dignitas. So that's unfortunate.
Heavy drinking now in the bottom lane. Potions are being...
Oh, potions. Yes, okay.
They're popping the bottles.
Of course, they're popping bottles. Potions, red bottles. Palafox does get back to mid lane. He lost the potion himself and the ghost, as he did use that. Heal's going to be popped now from Ignar. It's a trade of heals, but so far so good here for the Shopify bot lane. Both AD carries have used their potion, but B-Boy is healthier and gets a nice headshot down on the FBI, which I think is going to make things pretty difficult. I don't think they can push for level 2 anymore.
Yeah, there goes the shield cooldown as well. So no more sustain, no shield cooldown. They're going to have to back way up off that minion wave. And guess what? Their jungler's pathing away from them. So Jarvan is coming downtown, and Pantheon is going up towards the Rumble Ornn lane.
This is the depression base, where you go back and you're all you get is the pink ward and the refillable.
It's more heavy drinking.
Yeah.
The refillable
Understandable.
Drink.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully for him, they do have home guards, obviously, so he's just going to lose the one melee minion. He should get back to the cannon, but, I mean, it's going to be a loss of a plate. It's going to be B-Boy with a way better buy, and is able to target on the cannon.
At least it looked cool, too. when you're surfing back on your beads there for Yunara with the extra speed. Pretty
Can
sick.
you surf on beads?
Yunara can. They're mystical beads.
I didn't say her. I said you.
Oh, me? Nah, definitely not.
I don't think I can even surf on a surfboard.
I mean, well, maybe we get some action down here. The Jarvan again. Remember, it's desync junglers, so Contracts can look for mid bot plays here after his Scuttle Crab.
You're asking a lot of me after that pause. You know. You're asking me to remember things. To talk about League of Legends.
Standing on surfboards.
Yeah. Contract's going to be able to grab the crab, as XU will grab one for himself up on that top side. Mid lane just kind of being held in equilibrium right now. Contracts, though, coming down here, going to be looking for a potential dive. Lulu base, so it is a 3v1.
Oh,
we'll see
yeah.
if Seos can tank it up for the team. He's going to be looking to pull aggro. Does now get the aggro. There's the flash in from FBI, but the flag, the drag, it's good. The barrier is there, and he has rooted up and knocked down. B-Boy with the headshot is going to grab first blood.
Okay. All right, what's our plan for FBI now? Because this whole comp is built around FBI being rich, Isaac.
Yeah.
We spent 20 minutes talking about it and waiting it for this composition.
Maybe you can give him your Edge of Night.
Okay, yeah, true. You know,
that could help.
That'll make. I'll give him the Lucian card as well. Maybe he could switch.
He can switch
champions, or maybe have like 280 carries.
Yeah, this one hasn't worked out so well.
Yeah.
I mean, your one threat comp is not looking that threatening. You know, that's
17 CS on that one threat.
That's tough. What are we calling it?
It's okay. Pantheon's a threat too. Pantheon, he'll be a threat.
Okay.
You just have to be like
what's the new meta
single
for,
target so he can spear one at a time.
Which one at a time? Don't call him over here all at once. Keep it respectable, you know. Form a line for the Pantheon.
Step right up. That's why the Spartans, they choose the small little corridor to fight in. So you have to line up, file in
That's
one by
what they
one.
need to do. That's the game plan now.
Exactly.
Find a corridor.
Dignitas gonna reenact 300.
Unfortunately, it's going to be tough to deal with B-Boy here, as he is looking powerful with the Noon Quiver by, just the longsword on the other side. And Seos, pretty big early advantage, and looking to grab their second plate here as they push this in.
And B-Boy's got Cleanse for the Twisted Fate gank too. So if you gotta be careful. If you do go for that play, then the Caitlyn cleanses your gold card, and a Galio ult could be channeled, I would say, probably on Seos. Like if B-Boy's cutting back, then Seos could move up for a good position, or Contracts just keeps camping bottom and they get their siege going. Look at mid roam too.
Exactly. Zinni is coming. He does have the ultimate, so they could send it if they want, but even if they don't get the dive, they don't need to. They're zoning them off the wave.
FBI is spamming the Keck W Braum face, but I have a sneaking suspicion he's not laughing at the moment.
He's a liar.
He is fake laughing. Yeah. Unfortunate at the moment for him. Not a lot their team could do about it. Guess what? The Pantheon's getting a Scuttle Crab while you hear your bottom lane crying in your ears.
Don't worry, guys. I got top Scuttle. No problem. Unfortunately, FBI can't do anything. He's just going to be stuck down here.
He could go back to the fountain and then surf on those beads again with a lot of
They're going to look for a mid lane play here on a Zinni, but I mean, Palvox's out of mana, and there is the phase rush proc.
Bottom is safe.
He's going to walk out. In comes the Grand Starfall. They're going to go bot. They're going to try to full send it, but Galio arrives as well. Perfectly timed by Zinni. XU is down in a hurry. That Galio ult was beautiful, and now FBI is going to die as well. It's a double for B-Boy. 3-0, a 2K lead at 6 minutes. This one is looking like it's already all wrapped up.
So remember, Azale, in Champs Lake, when I was like, oh, you're going to have to address this problem early, because if you don't, it's going to get more and more difficult to address the bottom lane. Well, it's already too late, and they double ult down there. Pantheon does go for the early ult, but here we go. Teleport topside play.
Here comes the Destiny, the flash forward with the Call of the Forge God, trying to get Fudge, but Fudge is able to flash away. And it's just a trade of flashes. 2 ults there used, not able to knock down Fudge.
Oh, man.
Times are tough.
We waited so long, and it is just a long, quick. So that's kind of like...
so he's still got some hope.
No, I think it was a full, release of any ties to this game of whatever.
Like, you know what? I'm kind of hungry.
Okay, here we go. Cleanse is the only thing B-Boy has.
Yeah,
no
he does
flash.
have that cleanse. They are going to throw the gold card down onto Seo. Seo still has the flash, though, so he's going to pop the clone. And B-Boy just stands and fights and kills him, and Seos gets 6. FBI trying to take down B-Boy, should be able to do it, but FBI is incredibly low. Contracts coming in. Nice sidestep there on the flag and drag. But I think he's going to be able to get both. FBI trying to get Seos back. Can't quite finish him off. One auto attack would have done it, but that is one auto attack FBI is never going to get. Contracts cleans up the kills.
That was really nice from Seos there. Sticks in there to land the Tangle Barb to allow the extra kill onto Palafox, so Contracts can kill his former mid laner, who he's played. We counted, it was these two have played some of the most professional League of Legends games together of any pro duo. But they just continue the Ultimate Grudge Match Bowl Part 2. Palafox trying to gank bottom lane. They go for Seos because there is a cleanse on B-Boy. And I was a little bit erroneous because B-Boy, in addition to the cleanse, he has a gun. And he used the gun very effectively to get his kill onto Ignar first. He had the fully completed Hex Optics, by the way. And so that's where the extra damage came from. But
how come Caitlyn never has to reload?
Why does only Jhin and Graves have to reload?
Yeah, exactly. What's up with that, huh?
Come on, what? This is why we got you, Azael, to bring up these
asking the hard-hitting questions.
Tantalizing thoughts. Now, we're going to have to come up with a reason for every champion that is not Jhin or Graves.
I'm glad that you were tantalized by my question.
I think this is good because we have some time to kill in this game.
Do.
And you already have a pretty good idea of who's going to win, I think.
Yeah, you do.
If you had to take a guess right now, I think I could predict it.
I think I would guess as well. Here comes the Destiny. We'll see how that works. The Grand Starfall arrives. They are trying to knock down the Caitlyn. B-Boy does finally fall, but Contracts is there to lock them under the tower. Galio ult will come in. Palafox does have the gold card locked and loaded. Dignitas look like they will be able to disengage. Not a bad play. It's just a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, and they do get the kill onto B-Boy.
Could have been worse. And getting the kill on B-Boy, very decent for them. Gives some breathing room at the very least to FBI to be able to get some minions for himself and get some extra gold, get some actual gold. There you go.
Yeah, you gotta like that. I will say, I like how active Palafox is being. Obviously, the game went really bad really early, but he's not just sitting in lane and farming, and you won't win a game like this by sitting in lane and farming. It's time to get out of the map, so he based, he went straight top, looked for a play there, then just without Destiny, ran bot. Destiny's back up, immediately goes bot again with the Grand Starfall too. So Dignitas definitely trying to be as active as they can. They know this is not a game where you can just allow FBI to be locked in this losing lane. They have to find a way to get them ahead.
I like this. This is an exercise in positive mental for Dignitas. They know this is a must-win game. We're already down 1 here to Shopify. This is match point. So trying everything they desperately can to try and fight their way back in. But even if you're desperate and you're trying, doesn't mean that there's going to be a fairy tale ending for you. And there's no fairy tale ending for the bottom lane. As they're going to get first tower bonus eventually. Trying to deny the cannon first. They do deny the cannon successfully.
And there is the role quest completed as well. 2.2k individual gold lead already for B-Boy. Photon does have the first item completion there for Dignitas. Completed that Kaenic Rookern for himself up on that top side. So he's looking pretty stable. He's honestly doing well in the 1v1 against Fudge, but this kind of a tough spot for him to be in. You know, it feels like a lot of the game was already decided before he really got to play.
All right. From a deficit, now we practice the scale for late strat. Ornn, you need to get the Ornn upgrading. Well, first, Yunar is going to need money to complete a first item. Then you can
need something to upgrade.
Ornn upgrade that item. Have you ever had a game where you're 80
by level 14 or 15?
Didn't have a single item yet. Okay, here we go. Ornn's going to be under attack maybe now.
Yeah, they got the whole squad up here. 5 members from Shopify as Ignar's trying to get in there and help out Photon, but Photon's in a lot of trouble. Does pop up the ulti. The Destiny's going to be popped as well. And here comes the rest of the team trying to back up their top laner. They're fighting pretty well so far. No one has fallen on either side. Palafox locks into their gold card. Fudge is very low. Shopify looking like they want to consider a re-engage here. The wave has been cut, but look at Palafox. He's just getting whittled down here. Nice little sidestep, but he's going to die eventually. You just gotta run, man. You gotta choose a side and try to go, but he kind of sticks on both sides. The TP comes in from Fudge, and Photon just TPs out to, I want to call it safety. XU now gonna be the next one moving up. XU. Oh my God, he's gonna die too. FBI is here, but he's down 3 levels to the Rumble. They can't even get to their own damn tower.
Yeah, it's just like,
all right,
they're just getting ran down.
That's gonna be.
How do you feel about FFs in pro games?
We get some more Riftbound packs up here. Let's get some opening, some Dignitas opening some packs, maybe.
Yeah.
during their game, they all get a consolation Riftbound pack to open.
Get up there. It's the ultimate grudge match bowl too. This is one of the funniest deaths I've seen in a while, honestly, when Palafox was under the tower.
I mean, all right, so how we got there was a little comical as well, because they cut him off. Cataclysm with the Rumble ultimate here. Fudge runs through the tower to get to the rest of the team. And then he run into the tower, but then Palafox is like, oh, there's traps in front of me. I can't get past these traps.
Wouldn't it have been better to just walk through the trap?
You get guaranteed headshot. You're dead. Look at the coach. This is the best part. Production is smurfing it, though.
He was full health. He could at least try to walk through at the start, but he's just trapped.
Nah, man,
I mean, they're having fun
there,
with
bro. You're dead. You're so dead.
Yeah, he's gonna get chewed out.
And then
at
the other
practice
funnier one to me was the Pantheon then going up in there. He's like,
you know what?
He's like, those traps are gone. I could go up in there.
What if I tried too?
It's safe now.
GG.
The traps are gone, right?
It's like it was player issue. I could do that.
Nah,
I can get past those traps.
It's not safe up there. No.
Nope, it is not.
And good attempt at least.
B-Boy has Caitlyn this game. Goal difference at 8. That's the highest since 2020 as the dive is coming through, and FBI will say goodbye as Zinni lands on his head. Seos will get traded back, but XU has a flash. I don't think he even has a chance to use it. It's another kill for B-Boy, and that is the highest gold lead at 8 for an individual player since 2020.
You know, I was just reminded as well that previous to this matchup, I was told Dignitas had a lot of scrim bucks, and they've been doing really well in scrims.
Those bucks are not cashing in.
Nope.
It's potential, you know? It's like you get a Riftbound pack. There could be something really good in there.
Yeah.
There might not be, but there could. Potentially, it's worth a lot. Just like the scrim bucks, you know?
100%. Okay, well, that's a 7,800 gold lead at 15 minutes into the game, Isaac. And a lot of it is on the Caitlyn. 4,000 individual. You get hit with an Infinity Edge headshot with a Hex Optics boost. Then what's your squeal of pain sound like?
Squeal of pain sound like?
Do you call out for
Sorry,
mommy?
Kobe.
Or
you know, no judgment, but I'm not going to squeal for you, buddy. You know,
fair enough.
No judgment.
You know what?
You know?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Some things just can't be shared between friends.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we're in a game that's between friends as well. Palafox still very friendly with the Shopify members. So.
Former friends.
Yeah, even though this is a grudge match, you know, they're long-standing friendships between these players. 007
Zinni here on the roam. Looking for a move towards the bot side.
That's what you want your Galio score to be.
Yeah. Definitely.
At least I do.
Yeah, I don't want him taking a single kill.
Guy's the jungler.
No. Give those to Contracts and to B-Boy. And he has done that. And so far, it is just going to be... I mean, honestly, Dignitas, at this point, there's not really any good place to look for. So they're just hoping that somehow, you know, you could just make this game go really, really long. Photon doing all right on that top side. 0-0-0, the only one not yet to die. And, you know, he's going to keep trying, keep fighting it out. But they're going to be losing the Herald, no problem. And that means Shopify going to be revisiting this top side once again. You can see Dignitas moving members up there to try to defend it, but it is very difficult to do anything. So I think the right play is just try to trade for the objective bounties.
Yeah, and they're doing that. Just keep the split push going. Palafox trying to get the bot side tower bounty and should be able to achieve that at the very least. But when you say there's nowhere good for them to look, wait a second, Twisted Fit, okay.
All right, they're going to be going for Zinni. They do get the flash off of him in trade for a couple of ults and the Ghost. They looked for something, but weren't able to finish off that objective bounty tower on the bot side. Now Fudge and Contracts moving over here towards mid lane. The experience advantage is really starting to show across the board as they lose 2 towers on that top side as well, and the gold lead increases to 9K.
All right, are we going to get a 20K-er this time around? What do you think?
Ooh, 20K is really hard to hit.
It is, because you got to like extend the game longer than it should be extended.
Yeah, and you have to be taking away all their jungle camps and stuff realistically on repeat. So I don't think we're going to get to 20K. I feel like the game's going to end. I'm guessing around 13K.
What Dignitas, are they feeling crazy about this? Maybe they are. I mean, they were positioning forward, but I feel like it is way insane to go for something like that when it's not even the Dragon Soul yet. It's just the 3rd one. So.
Yeah, I think just keep splitting. Hopefully you can try to get some bounties eventually. I mean, they still haven't knocked down a tower, so there's lots of objective bounties up and available, but it will be Soul Point now here at 20 minutes for Shopify. One fight is probably going to be all it takes to fully close out this game. There is the upgraded Kraken coming through for FBI, so he made it.
All right.
Photon does give his first ornament of the game over to his AD carry, who also just got a shutdown. So now he's only down 3.7K, and if you give the extra stats from the ornament, hey, you know, you're only down like 3K.
Well, aren't you just the ray of sunshine today? I like the positive mental attitude we're getting out of Azael.
The gold lead is
10K though.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, if they could cut the gold lead down to half, that'd be good.
Seos, Pop, Blossom coming in, as well as Zinni with the hero's entrance. Exio trying to make it happen, but can't really do it. The equalizer from Fudge. Gonna slow him up, but it will just be the 1 kill. Unfortunately for Dignitas, that is the jungler, and the Baron is spawned.
And the Baron's probably not long for this world. Ornn is still pushing on bottom side, though, so maybe Dig could get their objective bounty they've been hunting for. Oh, no, he's teleporting in. They're going to fight it.
Yeah, they're going to try to fight it. We'll see if they can make something happen. Palafox does not hurt Zinni at all there. FBI down about 2/3 HP. Here comes the Call of the Forge God. Beautiful taunt from Zinni. Interrupts the redirect. The Baron getting incredibly low. Zinni looks like he will fall. Seos getting pretty low and is knocked up. Maybe they can chase down Seos and try to take him down as the gold card connects. It's another kill for FBI. Dignitas get a couple. It's a double kill there for FBI, but at the end of the day, it's still the Baron for Shopify.
Double kill to cut the individual gold difference between Bvoy and FBI down to 3.4K.
He is gonna fall as friends become enemies, and Shopify becomes the nemesis of Dignitas. They are knocking them down and looking to end the game.
Was it a it had to be a 2-game sweep, right?
Meta has finally seen a bit of a shakeup for 26.7 with nerfs to Karma and Nami, while Rel has been loving her buffs. We've got pro players absolutely spamming Anivia support recently, so it's a new pick on the block for this patch. All this and much more in today's video as we provide you guys with an update to the solo queue tier list for every role in 26.7. Now, nobody likes how every stats site just auto-generates their stats, litters them with Google ads, and then AFKs, baiting players into terrible builds via misleading stats. That's why we just launched the best build site for League of Legends that actually has our team of challenger players working with the stats to explain why you should run these builds, when to pivot, and what to avoid. It's totally free, so why not try it? Check it out after this. And of course, if you want our famously effective courses behind the builds that teach you how to actually carry games and climb fast, use our special discount link in the description below. And with that said, let's get right into today's tier list. A top lane champ who has always been more niche in the past, but who's actually started to see a lot more play in recent patches is Vayne. Top lane Vayne has a really interesting and powerful build right now that consists of rushing Hexblade into Essence Reaver 2nd and Stormrazor 3rd. As we all know, Vayne is a champion who scales really well, and with the new role quest in Season 16 providing bonus experience, it's amped her relative power quite a bit. It's similar to why we see Kayle and Ornn in such great spots right now, because they're champs that scale incredibly. Being able to take Exhaust as a secondary summoner also makes Vayne extremely oppressive in lane, because if a melee champ tries to jump in on you, you can just pop Exhaust to negate a huge chunk of their damage, and then then run them down afterwards. We have a complete rundown of this build up on our new build site, so definitely refer to that if you're looking to try it out. So especially with Garen being the most played top laner in meta right now, there's a ton of value to being able to pull out the top lane Vayne, and we've got her rated in the S tier for 26.7. So looking at the top lane tier list, it was a less impactful patch in regards to any meta shifts, as we will continue to rate Garen and Kayle as the OP tier champs. Singed and Ornn were both nerfed to this patch, but so far they are not performing much worse compared to last patch. Nerfs barely put a dent in their strength, so even though we don't have them up in the OP tier anymore, they remain very strong S tier champs, so absolutely zero reason to drop them for 26.7 if you've been having success on them in previous patches. Garen has absolutely skyrocketed in play over the past patch, as his play rate was already up at 10% in 26.6. I run for tweet we played a huge chunk of their damage and then run them down afterward. To second team providing bonus experience, it's amped her relative power quite a bit. It's similar to why we see Kayle and Ornn in such great spots right now, because they're champs that scale incredibly. Being able to take Exhaust as a secondary summoner also makes Vayne extremely oppressive in lane, because if a melee champ tries to jump in on you, you can just pop Exhaust to negate a huge chunk of their damage and then run them down afterwards. We have a complete rundown of this build up on our new build site, so definitely refer to that if you're looking to try it out. So especially with Garen being the most played top laner in meta right now, there's a ton of value to being able to pull out the top lane Vayne, and we've got her rated in the S tier for 26.7. So looking at the top lane tier list, it was a less impactful patch in regards to any meta shifts, as we will continue to rate Garen and Kayle as the OP tier champs. Singed and Ornn were both nerfed to this patch, but so far they are not performing much worse compared to last patch. Nerfs barely put a dent in their strength, so even though we don't have them up in the OP tier anymore, they remain very strong S tier champs, so absolutely zero reason to drop them for 26.7 if you've been having success on them in previous patches. Garen has absolutely skyrocketed in play over the past patch, as his play rate was already up at 10% in 26.6, and now it's way up to 14% in 26.7. So every single metric points toward Garen being a legit OP tier top laner right now, as not only is his play rate extremely elevated, but he holds a top 5 win rate in the role as well. Now, this doesn't mean Garen is completely invincible though, as he does still have a few weaker matchups, with Kayle and Vayne being two that you'll want to avoid, so using your ban on one of them is a good idea. In terms of fighter priority up in the top lane for this patch though, nobody comes close to matching Garen. Moving on to jungle now, one champ who has seen a resurgence over the past few patches and moving up into the S tier for 26.7 is Naafiri. So Naafiri jungle players have been finding way more success as of recent because of a new build popping up. You used to rush Profane Hydra or Eclipse on Naafiri jungle, but after the Hubris buffs, things have changed. Hubris is now Naafiri's most popular rush item and her best performing rush item. Even though we have seen more bruisery Naafiri builds in the past, playing her as an assassin is what's working the best right now. You rush Hubris, go into Axiom Arc second, and then third item is pretty situational, with Serilda's Grudge and Edge of Night being interchangeable in that slot. So for the jungle tier list in 26.7, the only significant change we ended up making was moving Graves out of the S tier. Graves' nerf landed as expected, with the champ losing about 1% win rate, so he's still a good A tier pick, but no longer S tier worthy. The Shyvana change didn't end up boosting her overall power level by that much, so we'll have to wait for next patch to see what Riot has planned, as they stated they are looking to issue a bigger set of changes in 26.8. So for mid lane this patch, there's a new build that a lot of pros have been liking on their immobile mages, and it consists of taking Rocket Belt as a core item. Initially, we saw the build first become a lot more popular on Aurora, and now it's made its way onto other champs like Ahri, Orianna, Lissandra, Zoe, Azir, and Mel. Chovy has been playing Rocket Belt a ton
and
of
then
his
all
mages,
the
and
items,
the idea behind
abilities,
the item is
and
that it
quests
provides that
that
gap
are
close
done.
for you, which really helps when playing into comps that are more dive heavy. That extra mobility you get from the Rocket
Not
Belt
lying,
dash
but I
can be
need
so
to
helpful in
have
skirmishes
it
to dodge away from the
like a
enemies
photo
engaged, and just allows for these immobile
memory
mages to survive a lot
type of
better.
style.
Second
That's
item
what
is
I
where
need to
you'd
do.
be looking to pick it up on most of these immobile mages, as you'd still want your mana item as a rush. You definitely don't want to build Rocket Belt in every game though, and only when you really think you'll benefit from the active dash. Relative to something like Shadow Flame, you'll be losing out on a bunch of damage, so if you're playing into a comp where you don't think you'll need the dash to survive, then just going for the higher damage route is better. Overall, Rocket Belt has been performing really well in solo queue though, so it's clear that it's powerful when picked up in the correct spots. So looking at the mid lane tier list for 26.7, it's going to continue to be Ahri and Xerath locking down the OP tier. After her recent changes, Lissandra is a mid lane pick who's on the verge of being an OP tier pick. She's seen almost a 2% spike in win rate to mid lane pick who's on the verge of being an OP tier pick. She's seen almost a 2% spike in win rate due to the changes and slots in extremely well for solo queue, where we see a fair share of melee champs picked in meta. If you can use Lissandra as a counter to stuff like Yasuo, Zed, Katarina, Akali, and Fizz, then you're going to have a really good time right now. Those assassin mids are generally really annoying to play into for most mages, but Liss is one of the few who actually shuts them down really hard with her point-and-click CC, so she's well worth picking up right now. Veigar and Cassio were the only two mid laners adjusted for this patch, and the changes landed as to how we expected. Veigar didn't lose that much power, but enough to where he drops from S into A, and then the Cassiopeia changes were impactful enough to where she is no longer a weaker B tier pick, as she's up in A for 26.7. So 26.7 was one of the lighter patches we've seen for ADC this season, as Kalista was the only champion changed. So far, it's not looking like the buffs have led to a significant boost in strength for Kalista, so she will continue to be placed in the C tier as an ADC you really just want to avoid for solo queue. Veigar barely ended up losing any power at all from his nerf as a bot lane carry, so there's no reason for us to drop him out of the S tier as he continues to overperform. Ashe has a new build
lot
going
of S
around on her
tiers.
for this
Like
patch
that is an
many
absurd
pros are
amount of
taking
S
on her in
tiers.
solo queue, and it revolves around a Hex Optics rush. It makes a lot of sense for Ashe because she easily benefits from the 10% damage amp that Hex Optics provides, as you need to be over 500 units away from opponents to gain that amp, and since Ashe's auto range is 600, she can easily stay outside of that 500 threshold a lot of the time. The 100 bonus range on takedowns is also really powerful for skirmishes, as getting to 700 range and then also being able to apply the slow on your autos adds for some really nice kiting ability. The crazy thing about Ashe builds right now is that you can honestly run 4 different items and see great success. Kraken, Yuntal, Hex Optics, and Stormrazor are all viable on Ashe, and each are slightly better in specific spots, which we have outlined on our stats page for Ashe. There's a new support that has seen a big spike in popularity over the past patch, and it's Anivia. So many pros have been picking up Anivia support in solo queue, and the idea behind the pick makes a ton of sense. Anivia synergizes insanely well with 2 items being Solstice Slay and Bandle Pipes. Both Solstice Slay and Bandle Pipes passives proc whenever you slow or immobile a target. Since Anivia can very easily proc both passives by simply throwing down her R, you get so much value out of both items in skirmishes. Bandle Pipes especially is just so broken on Anivia because during a team fight, you will be able to provide your team with perma 20% bonus attack speed. So where the pick makes the most sense to play is in games where your team locks a heavy fighter comp. And this actually happens quite often because the most played champs in top and jungle right now are primarily fighters. So if you've got a fighter top and jungle while your ADC will also be auto attacking a ton, then you've got 3 champs benefiting from Bandle Pipe's attack speed in fights, which is massive. Here's a look at the complete setup for Anivia support as you are rushing Rod of Ages into Bandle Pipes for the core while taking Electrocute for the Keystone Rune. So for Anivia's tier list placement, we're going to be placing her in the B tier as an average pick that can work well if you pull it out in the correct spots that we outline. So we will look at the support tier list. For the first time in a long time, we no longer have Nami up in the OP tier. In reality though, the champ is barely any weaker than she was in 26.6. The nerf was extremely light, so we still have her placed in the S tier as one of the better enchanters for solo queue. Melio and Sona are a small cut above now though in terms of enchanter strength. Karma was also very minimally impacted by her nerf, so we're actually going to be moving her back into the S tier for mid patch as the nerf didn't even hit hard enough to warrant a drop into A. Rell was one of the biggest winners of the entire patch as a result of her buffs. You could argue for Rell being the best melee support in the game right now, as she's right up there with Braum and Thresh in terms of relative power for solo queue. Rell is an especially strong pick if your ADC wants to play Kai'Sa, Samira, or Miss Fortune, so don't sleep on Rell in 26.7. Alright guys, one last thing, our rank up guarantee is insane. It's like signing up for the gym and getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCap. We obsess over making the best guides with top players.
I mean, when I start playing this, I'm gonna trust this site too, so
make your
we'll
climb
see.
easy. If you're ready to level up, visit skillcap.com and see the difference. So there you have it, everyone. That's a complete look at the solo queue tier list for every role as we reach the midway point of 26.7. Thank you all.
So that's the midpoint. All right, so what I will do is I'm playing Arc Raiders right now, but I will start to solo queue tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I'll start the solo queue Wednesday, or we'll solo queue tomorrow, just to test it out, maybe get a game, just to learn stuff, and then we'll try some champions, and then we'll see 1 game or 2, just to test stuff out. But that being said, we're gonna end